welcome everyone to another session of the Tales of the Elbing. We are again joined by our esteemed players, Lanovar, also known as Lanovar the Great in Sweden, playing Reese, Finn McCorvus of the Clan McCorvus of House McCorvus, of the Greater Manchester area, playing Kimu, Bonti, Industrial Captain of the Tri-State area, playing Sistag, Arowina, former Empress of Sweden, playing Esterbeth, and Grumbles, Dwarf and Master Brewer, also Britishman in Exile, playing Ond. So, thank you all for coming, and we will go straight to the recap of last session, and we will start with Esterbeth.
Yeah, last time we tried to get our heads around all the new people on board. I am no longer captain, thankfully, but he did manage to make me the first officer. Anyway, we are currently following and trying to get into the slavers' ship. They were trying to escape from us. So we are getting ready for that. How about you, Sistag?
Yes. I went down and we had a talk with a crew of the. Thank you. And some people said, well, maybe we should put them into positions. And from what I could see, the way they look, no. I told the ensign that he should get his crew to sleep and relax. And with the help of Arn, with a little laxative, a little kind of have them a good night, peaceful sleep so they can recover from, a lot of minor injuries, but when you're having a ship blown out from underneath you and people lost, possible friends. So we then started scanning. This freighter took off. We were going to try and get at it with the fighters, with Esterbeth piloting, me being the gunner. But we realized that they were pushing their engines to the point that if we try to knock out an engine, we may blow up their whole ship. So at this time, we got into position. We're underneath this freighter. We have just spacewalked onto it, and we're getting ready to breach it. Send it over to Kimo.
Yes. Last time I stepped forward and volunteered to be captain, and the people agreed to give me let me try anyway. And naturally enough, I decided I wanted behind me the slyest, the most sneaky, and the best pilot amongst the crew. So I made Esterbeth first officer. The Hastati turned out to be run by Novastar, who were a very cheap corporation running the system. So Stag's already covered his conversation with the crew. I'm not sure about the laxative. Are you sure it wasn't a sedative?
Hey, I've been out in neg temperatures. Excuse me, my brain's a little brain freeze.
Fair enough. The space station that we were closing on turned out to be an old freighter with a 5-deck casino in it, which is very curious. The cargo holds seem to be full of life signs, which we take as slave captives. And as noted, we left last time as we were on our way from the Elbing's airlock into the freighter's airlock. and I shall pass it to Reese.
I don't know about the title of sneaky as being an Esterbeth, but for sure I'll grant the other ones, definitely. The only additions I wish to make here was that we now have plans to make a spacesuit for ship's mascot, Babu. That is not mentioned so far. But otherwise, very good summary overall. We also need to mention, Arnd, your security measurements. You took some precautions after the entire crew left the ship.
That's right, yes. To ensure that the ship wouldn't be stolen, at least not without some considerable hesitation, having left Lieutenant Marto in charge, the ship has been rigged with a security measure should it become too far separated from Arnd without his choosing or disarming the alarm in advance. It will repeatedly play in an unbreakable loop the greatest hits of Rick Astley, that being one song, over and over again at volume 11, I believe, was set across the whole ship, and all comm devices. Also, there's nothing much that I need to add in terms of the recap, but I would like to verify that as well as sedatives being supplied to the crew and all of the guests aboard ship, there is a 0.69% laxative included in everybody's sustenance.
Just makes for smoother sailing.
And that's
Precisely.
often necessary given that you have a lack of exercise aboard ship. So fully approved as a medic.
Smooth as something.
Right. Has anybody not gone yet?
I believe it's back to you, GM.
Yes. So, having taken a note from her progenitor, as Sistag is standing there with his big old boarding chainsaw, tearing his way through the hull, and Reese is helping out with the boarding torch. The dulcet tones of motorheads killed by death are being played at max volume through your helmets. You get yourself a proper hole and swing inside what is the bottom of the station as far as you are aware. It's the least armored part because it's the farthest from the command consoles. The station itself, as previously mentioned, it was a heavy freighter once, identified as a traveling carnival. But it doesn't really look too much like a freighter anymore, having had tons of stuff bolted on, and the entire thing seems pretty unstable as it is. You're almost shaken off by turbulence while sawing your way through, and there really shouldn't be turbulence on a spaceship. Swinging inside, you find yourselves in what definitely does not look like a space station whatsoever. The walls seem to be of hammered stone. There are some stone pillars around, and you're up to your knees in water. Water that did not come flooding out when you sawed your way through the hull for some inexplicable reason. Of course, you can hear the wind rustling and see some bushes rustling in the wind. But the effect is kind of ruined by the howling of oxygen out. Excuse me, I gotta grab this real quick. Delivery, be right back.
There's some sort of comms interference going on. Not quite sure what it is.
It might be the very loud music. I wonder who she learned that from.
Oh, look. Was that a supernova over there?
No, it was the reflection of the lights in the water.
Ah.
I hope
Reese,
it's no supernova.
Reese, you think there's a force field that sprung into place to stop the water draining out of that hole?
I have no explanation for it otherwise. This is strange and weird. Need more information. Very curious.
Very.
Should we head to the engine? So who's with me on the boarding team? The whole crew?
Yes.
Okay, should we head to the engine room and shut their engines down first
That would be the best.
before they blow up?
Yes, the stag.
Reese, do you need to be elevated out of the water?
Do you need to be shrunk down into the water?
No.
Then that's your answer.
All right. I was just wondering.
Feels like home.
I don't know about home being in space, but okay. Swimming in a spacesuit is not my idea of home.
We don't really
Indeed
have a
not.
concept of home. We just function wherever we are.
It's not uncommon to have flooded areas even in starships, but this is a little bit weird for me as well.
Indeed. If I'd known we'd been invited to a pool party, I would have brought my trunks.
What is trunks?
Don't know. It's just an ancient
I
Terran
believe it's
reference.
a type of baggage.
I think he means it in the way of bathing suits.
Ah.
Sorry about
You
that.
have bathing suits?
No.
At least you all have homes to go to.
Worst
So will
timing
you once we
ever.
get your honours back.
We'll clear your name. Don't worry, Sushtag. Nothing will stand between us helping you clear your name so that you can return home to the Vesk homeworld and regain control over your trunks and swim.
We don't require trunks to swim.
Oh, all right. Another data record that seems to have become corrupted over time. I'll make the corrections.
Now, standing there and having had the time to have a little chat, due to unforeseen circumstances, the resistance party got somewhat delayed by a delivery. You do hear the sound of a, well, not the sound. What are these things armed with anyway? Ah, yes. See a couple of darts shooting past Sistag as he's kind of leaning down to show that he doesn't need trunks to swim. He has feet. And let me
Do
get
I
to
see where the
sharing
darts
part
came
here.
from? Did I see where the darts came from?
I believe you should have pretty good vision. Unless Fantasy Grounds is being 7 shades of weird when it comes to lighting again.
It is.
Oh, lovely.
I can
Just see me.
Well, I can confirm that people with dark vision has no problem seeing a map.
Have dark vision.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
So do I.
You have low light vision, and the game doesn't seem to recognize any light sources in here. Esterbet's flashlight is equipped, so that in itself should do that. Why do we have this issue every time we go into a new map?
I just added the dark vision I should have had, so I'm good.
Okay, anybody who doesn't see, I'm just going to go and add dark vision too, so that we can stop having to deal with this issue.
Okay.
See, I only see myself right now on the map. Now I can see everybody.
Yep, I added dark vision to your character. It's just the dynamic lighting is great when it works. It's not so great when it doesn't work.
Ah, lovely. We found the light switch.
Yes, indeed. Let me see. Menu is here. Let me roll initiatives for y'all.
You're going to roll the initiatives for us?
Yeah, it's the fastest way of doing this.
Roger that.
So what you can see is two skinny gray aliens with large black eyes. I'll see if we have a picture of them here. Yes, we do, and I shall share it.
Hmm.
And let me... This should be... Yeah. And two robots of this make and model. Standard class, patrol class security robots, dime a dozen, mass-produced, and also quite armored and fairly lethal. And one of the Greys seems to have stepped on something and fired off a shot before properly aiming it. Missing Zishtag and ruining their element of surprise. And the first one to react is Kimu.
Okay. Move over here by the bush.
Indeed.
Can't actually see a target to shoot at, so.
Copy that. And the next one will be the esteemed Esterbeth.
I too cannot see where they are.
Can you not see the enemies?
No.
No.
I see no enemies unless they are pillars surrounding us.
Son of a biscuit.
Now I see enemies.
Ah, there they are.
Right, let's pop back to Kimu if all these things were invisible and were supposed to be visible. Now we'll let you redo that.
Very well. Yeah, I think I'll still head for the bush.
Copy that. So, Kimu heads to the bush. The mighty bush, if you will.
Can I get a shot off at the nearest security robot?
Not behind the bush there, no. You can't see it.
Fair enough.
So, off to Esterbeth it is.
I am gonna shoot at Grey 2.
Ah, down there, yes.
For 16. For 16.
Checking. That's a hit. What are you firing, by the way?
My coil rifle.
Ooh. Yeah, that thing takes some hits.
And he also takes 1d6 bleed.
Ooh.
6 bleed.
6 bleed, so he's going to take 6 damage every turn on his turn as well. That's a thing. Ooh. Very well.
And then I will move to stand behind this pillar thing.
Copy that. El Rizo.
Question. These things around the edges of the room, are they pillars?
Yes.
Do they provide enough cover?
You're small, so you will be able to get full cover from them. Anything else will only get half.
All right. I will move here in that case, behind this one, and fire at the Grey one.
Copy that. Fire at will. Ooh,
25
that is a definite hit.
with a Assassin Shadow rifle. So 2d6 piercing.
Eight damage. Very nice. Yeah, you hit him. These things seem surprisingly durable for being small and sort of naked and gray. You would have expected your rifle to just take his arm off, but instead he's it barely pokes some holes in him and doesn't seem to be bleeding remotely as much as he should be. He also doesn't seem to be suffocating in the lack of atmosphere that's obviously in here. Those of you who have had 0G training recognize the fact that even though you hear the wind whooshing through that bush, there's no actual oxygen in the room. Ooh, there we go. Zizzing, it will. Oh. Why do they have those really cool... Oh well. Not everything. A man can't know everything, can he? It's gonna move up here and slam at Estribeth with its fist. And that is a definite hit for 12 bludgeoning. Nice. Maybe even tight. This one will move around and slam at Kimu. Not certain whether or not that's a hit. That is a hit. It manages to catch Kimu with a big mechanical fist for another 12. And then it's Sistag's turn.
I'll be shooting my rotor laser here. The one right by Kimu.
Right. That is in melee with Kimu, so if you roll too low, there is a risk of hitting him. But let's go and see what happens.
No, I would know that, so I'm not.
You would.
Then I'll go for the gray in the far corner, number 2.
Gray 2. Copy that. Good thing you went for Gray 2. The roller laser, it just manages to get behind the pillar. As the roller laser takes a second or two to spin up, and it realizes the danger. Mr. Ond.
So there appears to be no breathable atmosphere in here, but these creatures, obviously the robots are unaffected, but these other ones seem to be unaffected as well, yes? And we're standing in water up to what kind of height?
Around knee level.
Okay. What would Arnd know, if anything, about these robots? What he's thinking is there a way to disable them? I know their security devices are probably not easy, but like, is there, would they function well, for example, if exposed to the water, if their, whatever, electronics was exposed to water, that kind of thing?
The security robots are made to be able to work in any sort of atmosphere or climate, but Arnd knows that they are vulnerable to electrical weapons. But you need weapons-grade electricity to actually be able to damage circuits.
Understood. All right. Well, in that case... I would like to move. I would like to... Well, first I would like to fire the laser attachment just sort of springs up out of my shoulder and sort of buzzes and whirs around a bit. Also, my armor immediately changes shape and appearance, and looks like Megatron from the old Transformers original cartoon series. The laser points, and it's got those 3 dots like in Predator movie at the robot's head, and he fires before, and he announces it by saying, "Please be advised, you should stand down and vacate the vicinity. Step away from my former captain, now pilot." And then he fires the weapon, and the weapon makes a sort of a chugging, gurgling noise as it goes to fire, sounding like a little bit like pipes or something that are blocked up. And then a laser beam fires from it, but the sound effect doesn't match what you're visually seeing. It sounds like the high pressure pipes of a large, I don't know, brewery device gone wrong, spewing cheap beer into the face of the robot. Let's see, where's the button? Actions, range, shoulder laser, roll. Nope, that's not the right button. That one.
And it's there we go.
Oh,
That's damage. Yeah, he's got a double click to hit for some reason.
okay. But it's the same button, is it? Oh no, I found it. Ah, yes, 4. 10 total. That's what I needed.
And that goes straight past the robot and hits Esterbeth for 3 damage.
I'm sorry, Estrabeth. I appeared to have sprayed you in cheap beer.
We're going to talk about this later.
From the burning feel, it obviously is not cheap beer.
I move up and around so as and stand kind of behind this thing like that. Does that work there? Yes.
Yes.
Robot, protect me from Estrabeth. She's quite angry at me right now. Thank you.
Let's see. What's this thing do? Just have a look at these bros here. Ooh. Ooh, scary. Right, so this thing moves up to here and kind of uses a hand to focus its mind towards Estereth, and I'm going to need a DC 15 will save from her.
Nope.
Nope, and Estereth falls asleep and falls over. And this one does the same thing here. Moving up and targeting Sistag and... no, that was not Estereth. That was Kimu. Kimu falls. I needs a DC 15 will save. My bad. I seem to have done a oopsie. Maybe even an oopsie doodle.
Will save.
Kimu stays awake. And now Sistag and Estereth need to make a DC 15 will save each.
Still nope.
Sistag stays awake, fights through the mind powers of the small gray thing. And Estereth falls asleep. One of them, however, is bleeding quite heavily. And that takes us the entire way around to Kimu.
Kimu's fairly annoyed. I'm going to cast Overheat on the robot.
Right. The robot does get an attack of opportunity for you casting a spell while standing next to it. And smacks Kimu for another 12 bludgeoning.
Ouch.
And we will need a caster level check from Kimu. So that'll be a D20 plus
concentration.
9. Yes. Concentration.
60.
That's fine. So the overheat goes through. What are you casting the overheat at?
It was that the security robot standing next to
At
me.
the security robots. Copy that. Okay. So
And I'm going to move over towards Reese.
very well. That takes us to Estribeth.
I'm asleep.
Yeah, so she's sleeping. Snore, snore. That takes us to Reese.
Reloading as the move action and firing again. On I suspect gray one.
Very well.
Very short distance. How the heck do I reload as? Do I actually have to declare a reload somewhere on the actual spreadsheet?
We'll have a look. Yes, you do.
Yes. Yeah, you need to remove the circles when you reload. They fill up when you shoot, and then you can.
Ah, I see. Okay.
That is a hit, good sir. For another 8 damage. And that is Gray 1. Yeah, that thing is bleeding, spattering a bit of blood after being shot twice, but it's a sort of a nightmare scenario how durable that little thing is. By all rights, you should have blown it in 2 at this range. And the security robot next to Kimu says unauthorized materials detection detected, and then tries to smack him again. This time, however, Kimu easily dodges it. While the one next to Ond and Esabet goes antisocial behavior detected and smacks Estribeth for another 12. And Estribeth wakes up because a big old metal fist hits her face.
Gods! Ugh!
Sistag.
All right. And swing.
Ooh.
For 23.
That is a hit, good sir.
the Solar Brand Red Star.
Yes. 6 damage. Yeah, that thing is the Solar Brand does some work on it. The hitting it, this tag feels that this thing is a lot more solid than it should be, considering it's small and spindly. He'd guess it probably weighs as much as him, even though it's like a quarter of his mass. On.
Do I know what these grey creatures are?
You'd have to take the time to access your deep library, in effect, spend a round for a lore check.
All right. All right, and he doesn't do that. Estrabeth, are you all right? You seem to have taken a nap, but woken up again.
Just kill this thing.
All right, understood. A compartment opens, or one of the storage compartments on Arn's kind of midriff opens up, and a small arm holding ejects forward, and it's a can of Budweiser Light. He takes it out and holds it out, throws it actually just at the robot. That's just like not an attack, just throwing it at him. And he then turns his laser at point blank range at the thing's chest and fires at point blank range, if I'm allowed to do so.
Yes, you are.
And he says, "Here, hold my beer." $15.
Let's see, and you are flanking it thanks to Estrabeth, so that is a hit.
Yes. Did that? No, hang on. All right, 8 of the damages.
Oh, nice. That is it's a good hit too. Security robots are made to take damage, so you know it's going to take a bit more than that to take it down.
Well, it looks like the next round's on me too.
The Grey, next to Reese, moves up next to him and pulls out a probe. And the one next to Sistag pulls out a probe and makes an attack with it. And Sistag easily dodges.
Now, Vesk has a intimidation that's with all sub creatures, I guess to say, automatic. Even though I also have the skill.
Mm-hmm.
Does that go into automatic when they try to attack something?
No, you'd have to spend a move action to use it. Yep, this thing is... All right. Okay, yep. So it tries to probe Sistag. Sistag easily blocks it with his solar brand. And then it's Kimu's turn.
Yes. Inject nanobots on the security robot.
Ah, excellent. That is a hit. What in the heck does it do? A lot of damage. Okay, then.
Yeah. Let me read the text. Inject nanobots. You concentrate key particles in your blood into tiny biological nanobots that inject into a foe with a touch, disrupting and damaging its natural processes. Make a melee attack against the EAC. If you hit, the nanobots deal 4d8 damage and swarm through the target's biological or mechanical systems, causing the creature to be confused for 1 round per your caster level.
Oh, so it's confused for 5 rounds as well.
The target, if the target succeeds at a fortitude save, it takes half damage and negates the confusion effect, or a confused target can attempt a will saving throw at the beginning of every round.
Oh, it's definitely confused.
Fantastic. In that case, let's get out of here. I'm going to flank that grey.
Very well.
There we go.
It does get an attack of opportunity as you move out of its threatened square. So it's going to try to punch you. It's confused, but it's still following its basic programming protocols, which is punch things and call them antisocial. But the punch comes in slow. Kimu dodges under it and gets up behind the gray that's trying to probe Reese. Estebet now is awake. She is prone.
I'm gonna do what everybody does in such a situation. I'm gonna kick flip up.
Ah, yes, the traditional kick flip. And Estebet does it in style, actually managing to go 720 degrees as she kick flips up before landing on her feet.
And then I'm gonna quick draw my arc pistol and shoot this thing point blank.
Somewhere in the universe, a Marvel executive wakes up and doesn't know why. That is indeed a hit.
And now I get some sneak attack-ish thing as well because he's flanked by Arn.
Nice.
Just need to read on that because we haven't really used that. Trick attack, plus 3d8.
Yes.
3D what now?
Yes.
Oh. That's a lot better than Pathfinder.
But you remember they have both fatigue and wounds here, so that it needs to be more damage.
Yeah, and actually the shot, the electrical burst from the pistol seems to do significantly more damage to this thing than you would have expected it to. A panel pops off in the back and you can hear the security robot going, "Danger, danger."
Will Robinson?
Never heard of him. It's Reese's turn.
So I still have one very much alive, probe-ready gray in front of me.
Yes, indeed.
Then I pull a Vanishing Act, basically putting on my cloaking field, which allows me to vanish from sight, and stealth hide right in front of him, backing off. So I activate it as a move action and roll a stealth with a +10 modifier.
Go for it, sir.
So 10 additional on that, on top of that.
Yeah, you disappear.
And I could even make an attack, but given that my move action is basically doing this, I would have to somehow conjure up a weapon in close range. I can't use the sniper rifle like that. So I am basically changing weapons as my but that's me done.
Copy
I'm
that.
pulling out a knife instead.
The one standing between Estebet and Arnd goes, surrender, accepted, and then shoots at Arnd. Sapping him for 6 electrical damage.
And what do I take that off?
Your fact is where you put up anything until it passes your SP, in which point you start taking wounds. So you basically have 2 health tools here, which make things a lot more complicated.
Got you. Right, yeah. Fatigue. And how much damage did I take?
6.
6 to fatigue. Okay. Got it.
The other robot turns around and says, "Law-abiding citizens, please leave the area," and shoots at the gray between Reese and Kimu, sapping it. Slapping it good. Slaps it in the side of the head. Ooh. Meaning it's now Sistag's turn.
Good robot. Well done.
Okay, instead of moving, I'm going to use my intimidation on him. And then I'm going to say hello to my little sword.
Yeah, your plasma punching dagger claw sword thing.
That's the intimidation.
Okay, I'm gonna make a will save for him. These guys have, yeah, he's shaken, so that's a -2 to everything he tries to do. And then you get your attack.
And I guess I'll stick to the solar brand. I was going to stick out the longsword, but yeah, solar brand may do extra.
You do have the longsword as well. I keep forgetting.
Oh yeah, that's why I said I was going to say hello to my little sword. My move was intimidate, so I couldn't draw it.
That is correct. Intimidate is a full round, not a full, but a move action for you. That is a miss. But he is quaking in his little space boots from the intimidation. If he was wearing boots, he's not. These things seem to be naked, but they don't seem to have any genitals either. Which takes us to Mr. Aunt.
Now, did you say something popped open on this thing from Betty's damage?
Yes, with the electrical shot from her into the back of that thing.
Nice.
Something popped open, but it is standing with its front toward you, and it's back to her. Correctly having identified Arn as the greatest threat in the room.
That's frustrating. All right. I say to the creature, to the robot, you clearly have defunct processing, some kind of short wire. Why would you attack me? Betty is clearly the squisher, easy to kill target. And I try to, hang on 1 second. Yeah, no, okay. I just try, I aim at its knee, its left knee, and I fire my laser again.
Very well, sir.
It's probably got an emergency kill switch on its knees. Uh, 23 total.
That is a good hit.
All right, damage. Yeah. Free beer. 4.
Excellent. It is now starting to smoke a bit.
What's the matter? You look like you're getting a bit choked up.
You seem to be doing somewhat effective damage to it. The other gray here looks around and decides that Kimu is the greatest threat. Tries to probe him. But Kimu is not in the mood for non-consensual probing and ducks away. The other gray here is kind of shaking and decides that it wants to be over by the security robot. So that's an attack of opportunity for Sistag.
Alrighty.
That, with it fleeing the way it is, that is a hit. Oof. Plus. There we go. Yeah, Sistag whacks it good, and it's leaving a trail of blood from where Esterbeth shot it as well. It's starting to look more light gray, going to white from blood loss now. But the dang thing, it sort of gives that sort of nightmare feeling when you're punching something and you never seem to hit it hard enough, even though it should have gone down a long time ago. Kimu.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the grey wherever Reese has got to. He's up to something, and shoot at the robot again.
Very well. Oh dear.
Try that one again. There we go.
That is a hit. And that is, yeah, the plasma bolt definitely does some damage to it. Not as much as you would have hoped for, but it is also starting to smoke ever so slightly. And that takes us to Estribeth.
I'm so tired of this thing standing in front of me, trying to punch me. And thank you, Arnd. I will remember that before shooting it. And missing.
Yeah, it's it's flanked, but Estribeth's shot is not very well placed. She actually hits it in the exact same place she did last time, but the circuits there are already fried, so it doesn't do any more damage. And that takes us to Mr. Reese.
All right, so this thing has actually turned around and presented it back to me.
That is correct, good sir.
How kind and thoughtful of it. Then I will attempt to basically shiv it, jump up on its back, and Colombian necktie time.
Okay, then.
Well, first of all, in order to make a successful trick attack, I'm going to have to do stealth, because that's the rules.
You are already stealthed. You stealthed last turn.
I know, but I need to do it in order to do the trick attack. I need to succeed in a bluff, intimidate, or stealth check.
Okay.
Equal to 20 plus target's combat rating.
Very well.
Success for a trick attack.
Okay. Give us a trick attack. Right.
Again, this is plus 10, so 33.
Yep. That is successful.
And I also need to succeed at my actual attack. So here comes a knife.
And that is a hit.
All right. Now, this is going to be a little bit tricky because I have never done multiple dice rolls before.
Heroine is here to guide you through it gently, with her firm but gentle hand.
So how do I do it? 3d8.
Right-click your D8 and choose 3.
And if I want to add 1d4?
Then you'll have to do that manually, or you can drag the 3d8s down to one of your fields.
I'll do it manually then. So 1d4.
Nice.
That's 1d4 minus 1, so because I am not strong.
3, yes. Oh. Maybe he may not be strong, but he is fierce. Gets up, gives that Gray a solid Joker smile on one side of the head.
Threatening my family? No, you don't.
Very nice, Reese. Thank you.
Then I hang on.
The next robot goes calculating chance of success, 90%, and then punches the Gray next to it, or tries to. Oh, yes. With a good solid blow, actually splattering the head of that Gray out over the deck and super killing it. And the other one looks at Arnd and goes, "Do not be alarmed. Order will be restored soon. Remain calm." And tries to shoot him again with its electrical doohickey. Completely missing him. and instead shooting down into the water where nothing really seems to happen when electricity hits water. And that takes us to Stag.
All right, the robot that was over by the gray that went running from me, it disappeared off my map.
Yes, once it splattered the gray, it's safe or kill switch for killing friendlies kicked in and its head exploded. I forgot to mention that.
No, you didn't. I am going to shoot up at the robot just north of me with my roto laser since I got a good chance.
Yep, fair enough. Bra.
17.
17's a hit.
Now, will it take fire damage?
It will. But it also takes laser damage, so the fire damage is superfluous to requirements at the moment, as Arn's roto laser just cuts it clean in two. Not Arn, Stag's roto laser cuts it clean in half, disabling it. And speaking of Arn, it's his turn.
So it's just laying crumpled on the floor right in front of me.
Correct.
All right. I lean down, pick up my beer can, put it back in the storage compartment, stamp my foot down on its head, attempting to sort of crush it or whatever. If it's too hard, I just kick it across the room. And I say, "You fail me yet again, Starscream." And then I start moving my way across the floor to get a good angle on this last gray. Actually, how... I probably can't move that far, can I? 35.
Can with a double move, but you won't be able to shoot afterwards.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot. I want to try and subdue it. How injured? I can't tell from here, I suppose. So I move my movement, which is probably about there, I think, 30. And then I would like to aid my allies, if there's such a thing. The beer can comes out of the compartment again, and I just throw it at its head, trying to be a distraction.
Understood.
And I say, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me."
Right. This thing is starting to get a bit panicked. It turns around and tries to probe Reese.
Interesting, considering I'm hanging onto it.
Yeah, it's turning around in a circle, kind of waving at its back with the probe. And Reese is skittering about back there and dodging the probe efficiently, so it can't get a proper hit. And it is Kimu's turn.
Okay, let's try and put this thing down. Use the frost subduer.
And that is a good hit, sir. Oof. Yeah, it's a slight chill to its toes in the water from the frost subduer, but not much else.
Is it staggered as well? No, only on critical. Never mind.
Indeed. Estebeth's turn.
I'm tired of these things. So I'm gonna snatch my sniper rifle. Move up here to get a clean shot.
That's a good hit.
And bleed.
Yeah, Estebeth just puts one in the dome of the gray and it falls over. You think it might have made a sound, but as you're in vacuum, it's hard to say. and silence descends upon the room, which, now that you have the time to have a look, every 15.7 seconds it flickers, and you can see that you're basically just in a big steel cargo hold with some hollow projectors before it goes back to being a medieval dungeon basement.
Interesting use of projectors.
Let's move, people.
Good idea. Reese, do you want to take point?
No.
Sure. 1 second. I'm gonna look down on this thing, identify it. I want to know what we just killed.
I would like to assist.
I take it this is where the door is over here?
No, the door is actually up here with Reese. So
I am going to go to the. I'm going to go to the door and listen.
Right. So, reason on first. Looking back through Arn's memory files, on ancient Terra, there were tales of bipedal, large-headed, large-eyed gray aliens snatching people and probing them and placing them back, but they were discounted as lunatics in their day. So it was to the great surprise of humanity when they realized that the Greys are actually known for abducting and probing things. Their race is not accepted in most of these civilized places in the galaxy. They're slavers, information merchants, and sadists.
Explains the dungeon.
And from Orn's memory files and what Reese has heard of rumors, they're also telepathic, using the probes to basically stun their prey and steal secrets from its mind once it's unconscious.
Good. I now know how to fight them better.
Yes, it has been postulated that the Greys might actually be from another galaxy or universe altogether, which would explain their hostility to pretty much almost all things not a Grey, and their supernatural toughness for being so small and spindly. And I'm going to need a listen check, perception from Mr. Sistag. Pretty certain you can't hear anything on the other side of the door.
A airlock door.
Well, at the moment it looks like it's a thick wooden door, but it is an airlock door, yes.
I join Sistag by the door eventually.
Yeah, you can easily stand between his legs and try to listen on the door.
Yep. Let's see what we can hear.
I move to Betty and look to see if she has any injuries that need tending to.
Nope.
Nope. Sistag's pretty certain he can't hear anything. Those of you who took fatigue, you get enough rest that your fatigue is gone. It's only when things spill over to wounds, you start needing more time to heal up.
Thank you for that.
I'm alright, just a bit digged up.
I see. Here, another compartment opens and a small piping hot espresso comes out.
Got one of those for me, and
In zero gravity, okay.
Yes, it's not only in zero gravity, but also in the vacuum of the void. So Estrbeth looks kind of disappointed as she sees ice spread over the top of the coffee.
I'm gonna just pull the cup down so it's so the coffee will stay in the air and look like
It's been a while since I've delivered
next time
coffee in a vacuum.
iced coffee. Don't see the problem.
You want to go first, Reese, or you want me to breach the door?
what kind of controls does the door have? Is it a big old let's twist and turn something that will resound, or some kind of electronic controls, or what?
It takes a little while because you can only get a glimpse every 15.7 seconds at what the friggin' door actually looks like. But it seems like they have removed the twist and open that was here before and have gone over to palm print.
Bring one of those grays over here.
Good idea.
We'll get one right behind us, so.
We'll slap the hand of it on the palm print reader and see if it works.
It works, and the door opens. Bzzzt, it says.
Sistag, would you mind taking along a lockpick? Looking at the hand.
Cautiously head out in the corridor, look north and south, gun at the ready.
Yeah, there's another door in the lower end of the hallway, and you see a spiral staircase, allegedly made of stone. Although you can also see a neon emergency exit sign over it that doesn't really fit with the whole medieval dungeon theme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
We need to find out where the engine room is.
One moment. Arnd, can you remove that hand and bring it with you? The
Sure.
gray one.
From the gray. Right.
Yes.
I'm going to head down to this door here and listen.
Copy that. Give us a perception roll, sir.
Oof.
That was a good one.
You hear something big. Several big things shuffling and milling about in there. Kind of something in there is pretty it's lost its chill. It's pretty uncertain about things. And as Arnd listens, he can hear moo.
And?
Food.
I'm not sure. Milk delivery time?
I would take a guess that must be a hologram because cows can't live in vacuums.
Yes.
I
You
would be
there,
very
cow.
suspicious.
You there, cow.
Remember, this door is an airlock door that we just stepped out of.
Yep. And once you close it, oxygen will probably be returned to the compartment. Except for the part of it where there's a big hole, but there's an airlock door there.
Well, I've got to say, this is utterly perplexing.
Well, if there is a mean cow in there, I can probably handle it. No worries.
Will everyone behave themselves, please?
Shut up.
This tag is going to go north, away from the puns, and look up the spiral staircase.
That makes sense. Looking up the spiral staircase, the staircase itself seems to not have any holograms in it once you poke your head in. Just looks like a regular old staircase. And you can see 4 more doors up 1 floor each. Seems like there's 5 floors over you.
Okay, I'll pass that on to the crew.
I think we're following tight after.
Right. As Ond moves through the airlock, it closes again. and gives you oxygen. You can feel the rush of oxygen as the ship refills the compartments.
We need to get to some type of panel and find the schematics of this so we can find the engine room on.
Yeah,
Agreed.
based on the ship, it should be such and such, but you know, this is really heavily rebuilt.
Does there appear to be any kind of information data console panels we could tap into?
There are information panels, yes. Absolutely.
I proceed to approach one and attempt to interface with it.
Right. That is going to have to be that's going to have to be some fancy hacking on your parts. I am going to need myself a computers roll.
Coming right up. How about a 14?
Well, you can't get any detailed schematics, but engineering should be on subdeck 4, the one over where you are. And the subdeck you are on has been relabeled as the pleasure deck.
With cows. Okay.
Yeah, don't ask questions.
So
Well,
it's one deck above on.
I relay the information. Yes, I think we should get out of this pleasure deck as soon as possible. Unless any of you, you know, I don't mean to judge. I will judge you silently, inwardly, but Anyway, moving on. If any of you wants to stay behind it and have a bovine fine time.
Right. I take it that, unless I misheard, you are cautiously moving up the stairs.
Correct. Sorry about that. Didn't.
That is perfectly fine. Give me a stealth check for Sistag. Son of a...
Asking a lizard to walk stealthily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was why I wanted Reese to go first, Sistag. Never mind.
That's wrong. Oh, they have done some annoying things here. Why can't this just work the way Pathfinder 2nd Edition does? Where Pathfinder 2nd Edition works so well on encounters. Why can't this thing be equally good?
At the moment, I'm wondering why Sistag brought the whole orchestra of trombones and cymbals and drums.
He's probably
Cowbell.
learned from Arndt.
I would take
to
umbrage
defend
with
my
that.
decision, I think I'm more capable of fighting ship on ship than most people here.
Yes, you are.
Of course you are. Which is why we should have been silent, because that's where we excel.
Son of a... excuse me. I'm having some issues with the game client for some reason. Why are you doing what you're doing?
To be fair, Sistag, you probably would prefer as much combat as possible. I bet you're itching to have a good fight, and I, for one, appreciate your use of special tactic reverse stealth.
There we go. Finally, somebody who sees how these things are supposed to work. Right. Sistag is moving up. He may or may not be humming a Vesk combat song and have forgotten to turn off the speakers of his helmet.
It's that best opera.
Yeah.
Vesk opera is known throughout the galaxy for having a dizzying variety in the ways of how they will inflict violence onto things. And also the only one that makes a lot of use of electric guitars and artillery.
A very disturbing thought hit me in the moment. Vesk Vogon.
Yes, don't mention that one.
So Sistag moves up into a room. Again, there's obviously some holographic shenanigans going on. Because once he moves in, the floor is wooden. And there's a table with a bubbling cauldron and a large grimoire on that table. In addition to 2 doors. One, let me share some records here with you, so you'll be able to see it.
This is your field of expertise, witch.
Wizard, at best. I would say which door should we go through, but that would be superfluous.
Are we still having the flickering, or is this operational and
It's not
covering everything?
flickering here. Only thing flickering is one of the candles on the table, set in a silver skull candle holder.
Well, at least they've gone to some trouble to make the place inviting.
I quite like the silver skull, but there you go.
So, which door do we take a look at?
Sistag?
You make the decision, Captain.
Thank you. Looks like Reese is taking matters into his own hands. Reese?
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
look by
looking
this
over
door.
there. Just making sure we have somebody positioned at the door should anybody come in.
Listening at the door.
Astrobet's listening at the door, and she can hear the sound of hooves against the wooden floor. In addition, she hears the same sort of crackling sound that she heard from the gray probe when they tried to probe you downstairs.
Probe.
Do we want
And
to leave anything
horses.
behind us?
I'm listening on the doors on my side.
Yeah, Reese can also hear hooves on wooden floor.
Animal noises.
Okay. Let's check the one with the probe behind it.
Right, where is Kimu? Yeah, Kimu is standing still, pointing and making people go places. So, yeah, Kimu opens the doors, I assume.
Yes, please.
And for some reason, this thing is not showing up. There we go. He can see a Grey standing straight behind the door, probe in hand. But Kimu's faster than it and gets the drop on it.
Kimu's going to cast Daze on it.
Right, as Kimu is casting spells in close combat, he it's going to try to probe him. And accidentally he ends up probing itself instead.
That's going to leave a mark.
It seems confused, and it's now dazed as well. On its own turn, it's just going to stumble back a bit, so that'll be attacks of opportunity from anybody with a melee weapon. Astrobet or Kimu, if you have a melee weapon up.
Nope.
Nope. Assume
I
as
do.
much.
Meh.
Right. Kimu completely misses with the dueling sword. Stepping up on the door, out from behind a picture that swings out, a Grey sticks its arm out and tries to probe Reese. But Reese dodges.
I can't see that one either. Thank you.
And that takes us to Reese.
Okay. Well, since this is point blank, I drop the sniper rifle and pull out the switchblade and make a stab at it.
Copy that.
It's gonna be a basic one, so yeah, I don't have any time for anything else.
And it dodges the stab, blocking it with the probe. The probes are about the length of a human forearm, silver, with rounded ends on and very smooth surfaces. Speaking of smooth surfaces, it's Ezra's turn.
Okay. I am gonna delay till after Sistag is in melee with one of these.
Copy that. And it is On's turn.
Arndt will move a little to get a good angle on this one in the wall, and then he will he takes out a tiny little megaphone or something, pops out of his thumb, amplifying his voice, and he says he uses a spell or a magical power of command on the creature, and he says he just says sit down. And I cast the spell. I don't know. I've never done this before. Let's try. That? I don't know why I have to click for it.
Let's see. I think On just added prone to himself.
Oops.
Nope. But the creature sits down. The Grey sits down. It's
All
now
right.
sitting in front of Reese.
All right. Your move, creep. I mean,
So
Reese.
On's turn. And Estebeth hears clop, 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 clop as the creature moves up in front of her. Looks a lot like this.
What on earth?
About 2 meters tall and quite heavily built, with a cryo pike that is going to try to stab her with. Oof. And Estebeth actually manages to dodge the cryo pike. Can you see the token, by the way? Or is it invisible?
No, it's invisible.
Son of a biscuit. Okay.
There it is.
And it leaves a trail of frost on the floor where Estebeth dodges it. And the other doors open up. And this one moves out to flank. Reese gets an attack of opportunity, by the way.
Wonderful. Yes. I slash it with my switchblade.
That is a hit.
Mightily 1d4 -1, so 2.
A mighty 2 damage.
3. You have the -1 in it.
Yeah, you do. That is 3 damage. So yeah, he manages to slash its shin as it moves up past him, and then it tries to stab him with its cryo pike. Now flanking him as well. And I do believe that is a hit. $18 damage.
Oof.
My apologies. Had to answer a question there to Machete about the Shadow Cat. Yes, that is. These things are strong. It turns out it hits like a truck. That really hurts, and it's also super cold. But now it's Sistag's turn.
Question for the GM, my soldiering experience. If I fire my roto laser at the one above Reese, is there a chance I hit Reese if I fail, if I miss?
Yes, unless you have the precise shot feat, you'll always have that risk.
All right, thank you. Charge.
Very well. So now, just to ask a control question here, are you certain you don't want to flank it? Because you have the opportunity.
We couldn't hear you.
I hit the shift. I said I was flanking it because I was just to the right of him, above him.
Yeah. You need to be able to draw a line through him to get the flank. But you can get the flank if you go up on the table, so you can draw the line to Reese.
Well,
Oof. And that is an additional +1 for high ground for the table and 2 from flanking, so that's a hit.
oh, I used the wrong thing. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's a roto laser. My bad. That's even better. So yeah, that's definitely a hit. Oof. Well, you smack him. These things are pretty heavily armored. But the energy from the solar brand hitting its armor is enough to crater the armor and cause some of it to chip off. But the noir, as you know these things are, inside survives. See, the Greys have done all the Greys can do, so it's Kimu.
It's actually me first because I delayed until Sistag was in melee with someone.
Yeah, Casterbeth. That's what I said.
So I'm gonna do a backflip up on the table behind the Vesk.
The Vesk known as Sistag. Sistag the Vesk. Sistag, that is a Vesk.
For
Bulletproof
22.
desk.
The Vesk, also known as Sistag. Yes, you do a backflip up behind him.
And hunching down, I'm gonna shoot through his legs at this thing.
Very well. So now you can hit both Sistag and Reese if you miss too badly.
Oh yeah. And I don't.
That is true. That is a hit, as it is flanked. Oh, the arc pistol this time. Very well.
For
Yes.
18 total.
That is a good hit. That seems to cinch the back of its head a bit. And now it is the Kimu.
Okay. I'm going to move back a square.
And that gives it an attack of opportunity. It is going to try to stab Kimu with the pike. And this time it tags Kimu with the cryo pike for 17 damage. Kimu feels the cold creep down his bones as he moves away and gets stabbed.
And let's shoot it with the plasma bolter.
Yeah, Kimu hits it straight in the chest plate, which absorbs the hit. And there's no real damage done to it.
Never mind.
Right, the greyback here is kind of stumbling about. It's pretty confused about life and tries to cast sleep on Arnd, to which he is immune. So that is a complete waste of time. Which takes us to Reese.
I'm not liking where I am, so I will pull my vanishing trick again and fade from you, moving sideways.
Right, give us a stealth roll, sir.
With additional plus 10 on top of this, so 30.
Yeah, he does manage to disappear. He's pretty certain of it.
Yep, and I'm moving sideways. I'm not attacking this round at all.
Very well.
Out of the line of fire.
Where is he moving?
Just sideways to the left is my idea.
Yep. Estribeth.
I'm gonna shoot again. Through Sistag's legs and still get the bonus because he is busy with Sistag.
That is it. Yeah, he gets kind of fried again. This is he's looking a bit unsteady on his feet. You think it's a he? It's hard to say with heavily armored space cow people with pikes, but it could be a she for all you know, or a they. But whatever it is, it's taken quite an amount of damage now. Miss Ond.
I will. The laser pops up on my shoulder, seeing that the cow is quite badly wounded. Reese, if you're out here, give us a sign. That is, if you want healing. And I shoot at the cow with my laser. Boom. I'm not sure what the old Terran culture thought of feeding cheap beer to cows, but anyway. Pew.
Pew, and that is a hit.
All right. In that case,
Pew.
down in one.
Ooh. Yeah, it's staggering, kind of holding its left hand to its gut where it got hit, but from what the Reese can see, its eyes are glowing more red, and it's starting to foam at the mouth. This one here moves down this way and takes another stab at Kimu. And that's another hit for 14 damage this time. And this one actually tries to move down here to get a flank on Kimu, and Sistag gets an attack of opportunity. Oh, that's a hit. Yeah, that's definitely a hit. The body moves down and starts readying the pike to stab Kimu in the back before it realizes that Sistag just took its head off with the solar brand, and it falls over.
Thank you, Sistag.
Well done,
And it's Sistag's turn.
I'm going to shoot the Noor right by Kimu.
Yes. And you have high ground, so that's a +1 to your attack roll. Okay. That's a critical. Well, it's a threat. Anyway, we don't have the same critical system as the second edition, but so we need to confirm the threat roll with another attack.
Or it actually rolls the crit for you.
Oh, well, then it is a crit. In which case, they are using second edition rules. Excellent. We'll stick with that. So yeah, that is this thing has got pretty heavy armor, so it's not.
And that's the burn.
It's not instantly killed by the volley, but its chest plate is now more or less ruined after taking the energy from the rotolaser burst straight to the chest, and you can see that the flesh on his chest is bubbling from the heat. So it is very gravely wounded. And this bro here, who is not confused or stunned or anything else, moves up and tries to probe Kimu. Man, what is wrong with my dice today? Haven't probed a single one of you. And
I'm
misses
very
the
glad
probe.
about
Kimu's turn.
that. Okay, I'm going to inflame the Noir. Me.
That is a miss, and the Noir gets an attack of opportunity from spellcasting straight in front of it. But, Kimu actually dodges the Noir's pike strike. Will he dodge the Gray's probe as well, is the question. Nope. Kimu gets himself probed, and I need a DC 13 will save. Yeah, the Gray tries to take over Kimu's mind and make him go to sleep, but Kimu is having none of it. You can see the. Well, let's see, Arnd and Esterbet can see the Gray inside the other room, still confused from probing itself and then getting dazed cast on it by Kimu. Sees itself in the mirror and fires 3 quick shots into the mirror. And it is Reese's turn.
Okay.
Oh, is Kimu moving?
Trying to.
Right, that's another round of attacks of opportunity. My bad. It's Reese's turn in just a moment. Once these guys are done beating up on Kimu, Cryopike hits Kimu for 17.
Ow.
And the Grey does not manage to probe him. And now it's Reese's turn.
Very well. Since the Grey is obviously not bothered too much about other targets, I am moving up and doing another jump attack on this guy. Basically, I'm going to cut him up as well, leaping on top of him and basically making a mess out of anything I can reach. So another stealth attempt to do a trick attack on him.
Yep. Reese is about to show that Grey the Fury of the Small.
And this is actually a bonus of 10 plus 2, so that's actually 44.
Yeah, that's a success, sir.
Because I now know exactly what I'm dealing with. So here goes. Stab, stab. I'm going to try and hit.
Stabby, stabby, stabby.
That's a plus 2, but doesn't matter. 8, I don't think I'm hitting.
Nope. Reese runs up and kicks it swiftly in the butt, but it doesn't seem to cause a lot of damage. Speaking of damage, it's Estebat's turn.
I am gonna elegantly jump down from the table and shoot over Reese this time rather than under the stag.
Okay, then. You're the classical over-under. That is a hit.
For 11.
Yeah, that Grey knows it's been shot. That's for certain.
I just have a question on the visuals.
Yes, sir.
Well, Estrabeth, did you have a more precise shot because you were leaning on Reese's head with your sort of steadying arm? You know, I picture you kind of like, you know, the shooting over the top, but like leaning on his head for...
Actually, I am just 10 centimeters taller than Reese, so I'm using his shoulder instead.
Shoulder, okay, all right.
And Reese is very happy he's wearing hearing protection.
Yes.
And that takes us to Mr. Aunt.
All right. I will attempt to... 1 second. How injured does this Grey doesn't look super injured, does he?
No, not very.
And the Noir, how wobbly does the Noir look? Or hard to tell?
Semi-wobbly. It's definitely hurt by the roto laser burst it took to the chest, but
all right.
It's not dead.
All right. Well, I don't really like this probe thing. All right. So I call out to this Grey and I say, "Excuse me, do you have any idea how many hours I have to put in to be allowed to probe these people in their sleep? You can't just turn up here and start doing it without any permission." And I fire my laser at him.
Very well.
Have some cheap beer. Or not.
Nope. Arn takes out a picture of an elderly lady and her husband standing with a pitchfork behind it.
Yeah, take that. That's art, that is.
The Noir looks around the room and decides that Arn is probably the biggest threat, and moves up to poke at him with his cryopike.
As he moves towards me, I'm pointing at Sishtag. That guy. He's the...
And then it does turn to look at Sishtag for a little while. The blow hits on, but only for 12 damage.
Ugh.
And speaking of Sishtag, it's now his turn.
That's for the probe while we're sleeping.
Same target.
Yes. Still with a +1 for the high ground. Sista is basically just standing on top of the table, hosing down the room. And that's another hit. Let's see. Plus the burn. Yes, thank you. Yeah, this thing is now it's wobbly. And it's turning its attention over to the guy with the roto cannon. It was hoping he wouldn't shoot at it when it was in close combat with Arn, but Sistai don't care. And this gray here is again gonna try to probe Reese, kind of stumbling about, poking the probe at its back, and actually hitting him. So I need a DC 13 from Reese.
Is that a fortitude or will?
Will. What? No. Yes.
No problem. 21.
Yep. Reese feels it trying to invade his mind with the beautiful dreams of cheese, but he manages to ignore it and does not fall asleep. Which takes us to Kimu, finally out of reach of those very painful pikes.
It's Parmesan!
Gräddost.
I'm trying there. That's better. Move there. Daze the grey.
Right. The Grey, of course, gets this attack of opportunity for a spell being cast in close proximity. Again, tries to probe Kimu, but misses. And it seems to be dazed.
Okay.
So it only has a half action this turn. Luckily, Kimu is still straight next to it, so it tries to probe him, and actually probes itself again. That seems to be a thing after they've been dazed, that their probing goes somewhat haywire.
Yes, it worked so well the first time.
It's Reese's turn.
Well, given that he actually knows where I am right now, and I probably can't manage a stealth check in order to bluff it, I will try and use the skill bluff instead. So I can do the same trick attack, but I feint and try and stab it somewhere else.
Very well.
This is also a +2 since I know what they are.
That's a hit.
So I go for the unmentionables and actually stab it up in the chin area again. Let's see now. Got to hit the thing? Yes, I do.
Nice.
So the regular 1d4, and then the triple d8.
There we go. Reese goes in, stabs it, but good. And the thing falls over and dies. Taking us to Astribeth.
Yeah, why change a good team? I think as I flip over to stand behind. And since Arnd is so massive, I'm going to shoot beside him at this thing.
Very well. That's a hit. Yep.
For 18.
Astribeth catches the Noir in the chest where Arnd has melted away its chest plate and gives it a heart attack. So it falls over and dies. It's
Don't
On's
have a
turn.
cow, man.
You always kill the cows with electricity. Everybody knows this.
Estrabeth, apart from Betty, you don't have any other nicknames, do you?
Nightingale, darling.
Ah, yes, that's right. I don't know why I was thinking the grumpy beard. Maybe because you stole my kill. Anyway, moving on. I move up to Kimu and Reese and I say, are you all right? Do you need any soothing, healing, foot rub?
Could
Probe?
use a little healing. No, thanks.
I got a bit singed, but aren't we still fighting?
All right. Well, I'll deal with that afterwards then. I think you'll live. Probably.
Right. And the next is Sustag.
Point blank.
Ooh. Yep. Give us a damage roll, sir. Normally that would have gotten it an attack of opportunity, but it is dazed and confused, so it doesn't get those. And On just moves up, hoses it down with damage, and he can actually
Sistag
see.
moved up.
So yeah, my bad. You know, Captain Balabonte, my head's there today. And Sistag can see that even though he hits it in the chest with the rotolaser, but it's the head that explodes from what looks like pressure building up inside.
There she blows.
Sistag knows Noir quite well. They're from the same quadrant as the Vesk. The Vesk actually use them as mercenaries a lot. Noir are used by mercenaries by pretty much everyone, as their moral code basically is right through might. But he is aware of one thing, and that is that they are very resistant to any mind effects. One of the Vesk telepaths that Sistag served with would describe that the Noir have a mind like a mace. They're almost impossible to control or dominate through that sort of shenanigans. And he can also see that he is in the control room, although the console for the engine looks like a large table set for 6 instead of what it should be. But with all the gunfire that's been going on, the hollow field has started flickering.
On, is there a way you can disable this hollow field?
Highly likely. I'll have at it. I look for a console and go to start looking for possibilities to disable the holographic effects.
That's going to be a hacking roll, sir.
All right, abilities. Nope, not abilities, skills.
Yes, that would be the computers.
Computers again. Okay, good. No whammies. Ah,
Yep, On finds the off button for the hollow field and pushes it. It works. And you find yourself in a rusted out crap bucket of a ship. Reese is kind of surprised that the walls haven't crumbled by themselves, but anywhere that Sistag's rotolaser has been even remotely close, there are large holes in the walls. And these should be steel bulkheads that could easily take rotolaser fire, but maintenance on the ship does leave something to be desired. The engine, well, Reese is surprised that you all haven't blown up yet. He has no idea the last time the photonic transbuffers were scrubbed, but it's way too long ago. Yes, Mrs. Sistag.
I'll be right back.
Copy that.
proceed with my engine control check, but meanwhile, while Sistag is preoccupied, I also slip one of these silver things, batons, thingamajigs, in my pocket for later study.
Yes. So, from what Reese can see, he basically has two options here. He can either disable the engine, in which case it'll probably never turn on again, or he can try to stabilize it, which will be a lot harder, but allow the ship to have propulsion.
I could use a little bit of assistance in this stabilization. I think that would be preferable. Or do we just want to shut it off, Captain?
No, if we shut it off, then the ship's stranded, correct?
Correct.
There's no way we can transport well, assuming the number of life forms we saw were slaves, there's no way we can transport all them on the Elbing.
Unknown. We have no idea exactly how many, given that they're, what did you call it? Cow things? I don't know if they're sentient.
Oh, they are. I've met them as mercenaries before.
The mooing style things that were behind the door downstairs?
Weren't that just pictures? Or these guys?
I have no idea what it was. We didn't open that door.
Okay, let's take a look at what is on the ship. If we can stabilize it enough that we can actually go through it.
All right, GM, question.
Yes.
If I do nothing currently, how long time do we have until things start to degrade even more?
Time to estimated kablooey is anywhere between 20 seconds and 4 hours.
We don't have the option to postpone this decision now.
Stabilize.
All right. Assistance.
I'll try to
Of
help you.
course.
Yep, anybody with engineering as a skill needs to make a DC 10 roll, and for each of you that makes that roll, Reese gets a +2 from the assistance.
On steps away from the console, having heard engineering.
So that is with a +4, +6 actually from everybody. That's a 36. Reese spends maybe 20 minutes, about a third of the time he thought he'd need. And he manages to stabilize the engines. He's fairly certain that he's actually permanently fixed the issue instead of just patching it up.
What the hell did they do? This one goes there. Obviously not. This is counterproductive. It will flux this and no. Change
Reese,
this
never
around.
mind the complaining. Can you shut the engines down?
They're stabilized, and we can do whatever we want to them.
Good
If you
work,
shut them
Reese.
down, the ship isn't going anywhere.
We have control. Captain, do we want to shut them down temporarily? We can do so now.
Good. Shut them off for now.
Right.
Hit the switch.
Yeah, the engines start powering down. You estimate it's going to be a good 30 minutes before the engines are completely off. But still, Reese is kind of surprised that not only did he figure out all the issues with the engines, but Sistag could actually go over to the workbench and mill a couple of new parts while Esterbet was patching lines and Kimu was hunting down scrap code in the engines, and Reese was doing all sorts of things to make sure they didn't go kablooey while you were doing it. Seems that you could make quite the engineering team if you just decided to change careers.
And if we didn't have a chip that fixed itself.
We just haven't heard it enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
Anders just been quietly standing in the corner doing some data analysis and biochemical analysis of the severed hand he took from one of the grey creatures earlier. The analysis in physical form just looks like he's gnawing on the hand.
And if you don't mind, I could use a little medical attention.
Ah, sure. I walk over and
Let's start.
assess his condition.
And you can hear from over by the stairs somebody saying, "What the hell have they done to my ship?"
I'm ready to greet him with I'm ready to greet him with a rotor laser cannon.
Yep. I will be doing initiatives here in a moment. I'm going to see if I have some pictures for you, though. Because this one thing that Starfinder does very well is there are actually images of almost everything that can be shown up to players. Ah, there we go. So, from the stairs, you see one of these guys charging towards you. You haven't the foggiest clue what it is, but this is the individual asking what the heck you have done to their ship. In addition, there's also a gray. I'm just gonna place out some tokens. There's one there, and says one here, and of course, as his brother from another mother there. And this time, the one to react first is actually show the tokens first because they're always invisible for some reason in Starfinder. There we go. One to react first is actually Estribeth.
We just saved it, you ass.
He seems hostile and not willing to listen.
I quick draw my coil rifle and shoot him then.
Okay.
20.
You're shooting the
Captain.
captain. Indeed, that is a hit too.
And 6 bleed.
Oof. Okay then. Next one to react is Ond, who was running through his quick draw menus, it seems.
Yes. Okay. So, 1 second. I lost the picture. Here we are. Aunt says, another group of fools trying to... I don't know why you bother. Anyway, something inspiring. Oh, I got it. Decepticons, roll out! And I fire my laser at the captain.
Please make a mental note to work on grenades with Sistag back on the Elbing. Ooh. That is a hit, good sir.
All right. There.
Well,
have that.
He slightly singes his cloak. He seems annoyed.
Hmm.
The weird creature with the glowing arm makes a... excuse me, were you going to say
I
something?
just move out of the way, that's all.
Yeah, weird creature with the glowing arm makes a gesture, and a miniature black hole pops up outside the door. And I'm gonna need a DC 13 Fortitude from each of you.
Nope.
So Esterbeth and Reese get pulled out by the black hole.
Oh, sorry, that's
Well-
the wrong thing. I don't know where fortitude is. Oh, there, I see it. I see it.
Yeah.
So it would be the same score plus 1. So 19
Yes.
total.
That works. And then it just moves one step up and tries to punch Estrabeth with its glowing hand. Estrabeth does manage to dodge that. And now it's Sistag.
Okay, for my position, who can I see?
Nobody. You seem to have to take a half step up, and you should be able to see all of them. Yep. So now you can see all of them.
Going for the free captain.
Right. A pirate captain is probably a better word from the look of him, but
I'm just going by what your picture showed. Free captain.
yep, I know. I should have renamed him to pirate
Wrong
captain.
dice.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, he and let's see what the damage tells. 8. Okay. And some burn. Yeah, he's bleeding and on fire. Not really enjoying himself a lot, it seems. The gray digs down into some sort of inbuilt flesh pouch and comes out with a hypo spray that it sprays the captain with, stopping the bleeding and the fire and healing him. Or her, hard to say. It's a Koshata, they're kind of weird like that. It's definitely a him. And that's what it does on its turn. Reese.
Well, you know the trick. On with my hologram and fade away, and then move away to the side. I'm not doing any offensive actions, just stealthing up and trying to move sideways down to the opening down here.
Got that.
So let's see if I make the stealth roll. Do with 25.
You're fairly confident you're stealthing.
Also, have I lost the fatigue?
No, you haven't had the time to rest that long. You've been working pretty hard on the engine the whole time.
Okay.
All right, the free captain has a grenade in one of the 4 hands, but suddenly the guy drawn in by the black hole has disappeared. So he decides to shoot at the big scary Vesk behind the halfway behind the door that's just poking out. With oh, wow, that's a critical. Yeah, so I'll need a DC 15 fortitude from Sistag. Oh yeah, Sistag don't care. Sistag takes a hit straight to the head from the Thunderstrike pistol. It's a sonic weapon, well known for 18 damage, but Sistag has learned as a Marine to just open his mouth and breathe out to equalize the pressure if that's about to happen, so he does not get deafened. And that's the free captain. Taking us to, for once, kind of slow off the bat, probably due to his injuries and fatigue, Kimu.
Yes.
Kimo, did you see that I cast that healing for you?
So the easiest way to cast
Yeah.
that is just to right-click the D8 and throw 3 and just add 4.
Okay. So you
That
got
would be-
19 healing then. Thank you.
Yeah, that's enough to remove all of Kimu's wounds. He's still fatigued, but no longer bodily injured. And
Yes.
it is Kimu's turn.
Have I got a line of sight on the grey? Yes, I have. Going to cast Caustic Conversion.
Okay, that is a hit.
Okay, and it's 5 additional damage per round.
Oh, so it's an acid arrow, just with a fancy name. Handy to
That's
know. Right.
Magical nanites again.
Yes. Obviously. That takes us all the way around to Astrobeth.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stay here. I'm gonna backflip away. "24 on an acrobatics to get out of the way.
That works.
I want to stand on the table and look out into the room.
Very well. You seem to actually have pretty good line of sight from there. You can see the Kopaxi at least.
Yeah, and I'm gonna aim at his head. And miss totally.
Yes. She actually loses her, drops her pistol into the bowl of soup on the table, and
The
turning
coil
down
rifle.
to the coil rifle down into the bowl of soup on the table, and bending down to get it, she actually manages to spill the soup over Kimu and give him a smack in the head once as the coil rifle hits him before skittering away under the table.
Ow!
Sorry,
What's
I
it?
have no idea what happened.
You weren't braced when you shot.
Must have been a stumblebee.
Definitely a stumblebee.
Something like that.
That takes us to Miss Ons.
Hmm. I'm going to step up here so I get line of sight on Mr. Special Ops.
Yep.
It's a glowy hand. You there? Why don't you punch yourself in the face with that hand instead of attacking my friends? And I use command on him to try and get him to, I don't know, punch himself or just, just be dazed for a round or something. I had dazed. Here we go.
He resists it.
Oh.
Yeah, he says. I see he gets the days off and
Well, then I will crush you with my bare hands. Wait, I don't have bare hands. Never mind.
Yeah, he actually focuses for another moment and then falls up onto the floor, lands on his feet, and runs on the floor over next to Reese and punches down at him.
Oops.
Hitting Reese for 12 damage.
Okay.
And it's Sistag's turn.
I'm gonna shoot at the pirate captain again.
Copy that. Let's check here. And that is a hit, good sir. Nice. Yeah, he's hit again. He's starting to get somewhat somewhat fatigued by the constant hits from Mr. Sistag there. This Gray is going to move down and try to probe Reese. And probes itself again. Those large heads seems to be difficult to do overhand strikes with the probes without hitting themselves. Weird. That's the third time that's happened in today. Reese's turn.
Well, I am really not feeling well, so I'm going to try and disengage from these guys. And so I'm going to try and dive through the square where the Gray is, basically making sure that he's between us, and then try to vanish and head up north along the side. Hopefully that I roll a better stealth check.
Yep, give me an acrobatics first.
Given that I am on this, okay, I have a +5 on this.
Oops. Nope. That guy's going to take a shot at Reese as he moves away.
22 is not good enough?
Oh yeah, +5. Yes, 22 is good enough. My bad. Reese does manage to dodge away, being tiny and good at skittering.
Then I'll have a stealth check, see if I can fool everybody this time. That's 25.
Reese is pretty confident that he's hidden. Now for this guy here. He moves up here and throws a grenade at Estrabeth. So let us... I just got to check some defenses here. Kimu actually is the only one that has armor that manages to soak up that grenade. Everybody else takes 11 damage.
I got Brigadine.
Yeah, but Kimu, I'm just looking at your armor classes. Kimu's got very high dex. So he manages to dodge under the table after Estrabeth's rifle, which he was already collecting. While the rest of you, 11 damage from the frag. Speaking of Kimu, it's Kimu's turn.
Okay. Step up to the doorway.
Sorry, I forgot to move myself. Thank you.
Yep.
And I'm going to cast Overheat.
By the way, how much damage was that free captain supposed to take from the acid? No, the Gray, I mean, from the acid.
The Gray?
Yeah, you hit it with the acid attack last turn, and you told me that got worse every turn.
Yeah, it was the original score plus 5 additional acid damage at the end of the turn.
Oh, so 11 this turn. That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, and it's one. It lasts 1 round for every 3 levels. So
one more round of that then. Copy that. Right, overheat. Go for it, good sir.
Okie dokie, Overheat. Hang on a minute. Yeah, no, it's cast. Sorry. There we go. There you go. 15 damage.
And who is the target?
It's the free captain.
Free captain, right. Yeah, he's really not enjoying life now. He's on fire from from Sistag's weapon in addition to yours. Speaking of on fire, it's Estrabeth's turn.
Yeah, I never got my rifle back. It's under the table, isn't it?
That's correct.
I am still within reach with my pistol, however, so I'll take a shot.
Pew pew. Oh, that's a good
26.
shot. That is a hit.
For 4, and I'll jump down to pick up the rifle next round.
Well, you do have one move action left, so you can use it to pick up your rifle.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up my rifle.
Right. Ons.
I will move to get line of sight on the captain guy again.
Very well.
I can't get the hang of this moving in this tool. Anyway, and Arnd will use his telepathic ability. Where is it? Wait 1 second. It's a sheet here. No, sorry, my mistake. I will telekinetically, if I have the range, I think I can. 25 feet plus 5 feet every 2 levels. Okay. Just grab the. It's probably a hologram, isn't it? I was going to pick up the what do you call it?
The skull candle holder.
Yeah, the candle holder, exactly, and the flickering candle, and just like throw it at him. But I guess I'll pick up the skull thing and throw it at the free captain. So I guess it works more like a distraction, although it's telepathic projectile.
Go for it.
Standard action, evocation. You fling an object weighing up to 5 pounds. Blah blah blah. Make a ranged attack against CAC. Okay, if you hit. Okay, ranged attack. Where do I find that?
Actions.
Ah, yes, okay. Ah, here's standard. It's got a pistol and the shoulder laser listed.
Just use them. They're ranged attacks, both of them.
Okay, so that'll work. Okay. All right. Oop. Oh. Okay. Damn.
Well, he misses, but from the sound, as the skull hits the wall behind the free captain, they have obviously turned off the safety protocols on the hologramic projectors. Holographic projectors. Right, this special ops bro actually moves away, taking us to Sishtag.
Same target again.
Yep. Oop. This time he's dodging that rotor laser like a champion. The gray turns to Reese, tries to use a psychic power, and its head explodes.
I'm gonna. I still have my movement.
Yes, you have your movement. My bad.
I'm gonna use intimidation on him.
Ah, yes. Give me an intimidation roll, sir.
Not that time.
Nope. Arn looks at him and not Arn. Sistag looks at him and goes like, and he doesn't seem to understand the gesture. It's Reese's turn.
Okay, so a little bit shaken up that everybody seems to be able to see him. Question about the staircase. Is there an actual balustrade on that? I.e., can you hide behind the thing up
Hard for him to guess whether the balustrade is holographic or not, but it is there as far as he can see it.
Well, there is a doorway next to me, so that is real. I take a couple of steps into it and then fire across it to the captain
Copy that.
Hopefully the doorway will give me a little bit of cover.
It will.
And 11.
Yeah, your dice are on fire right now.
Yep.
The free captain, you can see he's got a sword at his hip, but he's not dumb enough to go into melee with a Vesk. So he's going to try to shoot. Let's see who's here. Sistag and Kimu. We can see that Kimu seems tired, so he's going to take a shot at Kimu. And Kimu, although tired, is still pretty agile and manages to dodge that shot.
Let's trade fire with him.
Kimu's turn.
I'm just going to shoot at him with the plasma bolter.
That's a hit, sir. Oh!
16 damage.
Yeah, Kimu places 2 well-placed shots straight into his chest, and he falls over, stone dead. Blah.
That's for neglecting the maintenance on your ship, you miserable piece of crap.
And with that, quiet descends upon the floor again.
Ow.
We
Reese?
need to find Reese and help him.
I decloak and stagger out.
Yeah.
I'm keeping.
Let me help you, Reese.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
You did well. You could say you fought very professionally.
Ooh.
I haven't
think
forgotten your remark about your nightly habits. We will discuss this.
that's all right. Just stay nice and relaxed about it.
You do know that I control pretty much everything about the ship as far as power goes, and your power outlet can suddenly be a lot less than you want it to be, or more.
Hey, don't threaten an android's batteries, all right? It's below the belt. That's not even a joke or a threat. It's literally, I have my batteries where you folk, well, humans would have their bits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sistag.
I am keeping an eye on everything because there is one other person out there that we haven't seen.
Yep. Sistag's on high alert.
Yeah, we need to see what happened to that Capaxi guy.
Right.
Mr. Glowy Hand? Yeah.
Didn't he run into the doorway there? I'm looking to my right.
He disappeared when the captain did.
Uh, 17 healing for Reese.
Oof.
I'm gonna
Better.
sneak around and look.
Yeah, give me a perception, the ones who are out looking for him.
In about, I don't know, a minute or so, I will look as well.
Yeah. You look around the entire floor. In one room, you find a very small hole leading out into space. And the room itself seems to have very recently lost atmosphere. And it seems from the markings that something was clamped onto the ship outside of that hole.
Looks like he's making an escape through there.
So, did we actually manage to kill that fellow with a red cape?
The free captain? He's quite
Dead.
plasmid.
Good. So this is that blue thing?
It is.
The blue thing was the one that got away, yeah.
I limp over to the remains of the captain and look through his belongings to see what the hell they were doing here.
Yes. So Shag.
Do we have comms to our ship?
Yes, you do.
I'm going to notify the lieutenant of a possible, if she picked up anything escaping or leaving the vessel.
We had a blip, what we just thought was a sensor malfunction. But there's nothing on sensors right now.
Recommend be on alert in case intruder gets on board ship.
Copy that, Security Chief.
It's just this tag.
Security Chief, Sistag. The local defense forces wish me to convey to the Lance Commander that they will be sweeping the ship for any intruders.
Excellent work, Lieutenant.
Reese finds that he has a dueling sword and a sonic pistol. In addition, he finds the key card going to the pilot and astrogation area. I was about to say engrogation, but that's not a word.
Interesting.
Let's take a look if you can bring this thing to port from.
Yes, I bring along the items.
Very well.
I'm going to reload.
Yep, that makes sense.
I automatically do that after combat anyway.
Yeah, I mean that laserinator that Sistag has rules the entire tri-barrel area.
I'm reloading
Right.
as well.
I assume you're all reloading. So deck 5, the top deck seems to be where pilot and aspiration is.
Can we turn off this hologram thing?
Possibly.
Can try.
We'd have to find a computer station on this deck as well, I think.
Yeah, it takes about 5 seconds of looking until you find the off button. And this deck as well, it's a dump. If you didn't know better, you'd think that the slavers kept the slaves here. It's filthy and not very well maintained.
What other scanners are in this? Is in this engine compartment?
Scanners?
Yes.
From what you can see, most of the scanners that should have been on the outside of the ship have been refitted and moved to monitor the cargo compartments filled with people instead.
All right. Is there a way we can tap into this and pan through the whole ship to see if how many other people we should expect?
I can certainly try.
Smart.
Is that another computers?
Yes.
Yep.
As it is set up to do that exact thing, I'll say it's a DC 15.
Easy. Watch this, Ishtag. I'll do it with my eyes shut, and I won't even touch the panel. I'll use the skull candle holder. Just drag it across like a cat would. Been watching Babu.
Right.
Show off.
So it doesn't take on long. The consoles are set up to do that exact thing. You can see in the in piloting and astrogation, there is a human female, dirty, looking malnourished, with lots of tattoos going down both arms and a white singlet, and you can see a shock of blue hair, short blue hair up over the back of the chair. You can't see the face of the individual, but you can see that they're chained to the pilot's controls. Otherwise, chained indeed, with old-fashioned chains.
I'm going up there.
In the 4 cargo compartments, you can see maybe between 100 and 200 individuals of different races in each. It's hard to say because they're packed in so tightly. And you can also see that the airlocks have been refitted to take up the entire outer wall on each compartment.
Wow. They really could have vent the cargo quickly.
Yes.
That's probably why they had it set up like this.
We need to make sure that airlock's secure so that nobody accidentally gets blown out.
We could set a strong password like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We could set the password sedative probing while people are asleep. Yes.
I don't get the connection. All right.
Right. Meanwhile, Astrobeth has moved up and is going inside of the pilot's compartments. And the chair turns around, and she sees a familiar face. What used to be one of the daredevil pilots that she raced with. Now dirty and bruised and looking quite tired but happy to see her. He gives her a tired smile and goes, "Hey, Assie, good to see you." And that's where we'll end today's session. So thank you everyone for joining. The new episode, episode 5, last week's episode, is up on the YouTube as we speak, and you would know that because you're also watching this on YouTube. I try to get these episodes up every Tuesday. Mostly I have been completely failing, but hopefully we'll be able to get a proper schedule up at some point. But for now, thank you all for joining. We are live on Pathfinding Adventures on Sundays, 1800 CET with Tales of the Red Lions, and Tuesdays at 2000 CET with the Dark Heresy. And it is a constant discussion whether or not to go live with Starfinder, but for now, we shall keep it offline. So thank you all for joining. Please head over to twitch.tv/GrumblesDwarf. Give him a like and a subscribe. I recommend the tier 3 sub. It is the best one, and he works hard and definitely deserves it. So for now, thank you everyone, and good night.
Thank you, Shogalicious.
Twitch.tv/Shogothlicious.
Good vibes, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.